Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Capital A Trading, and welcome to what's going to be the next episode of my Forex Weekly. So for those of you that don't know, this is the video where I just go through the charts, looking for the best investment opportunities that week, and then bringing them to you, showing you how I'm going to tackle them. So if that sounds good to you, if you trade, if you take investments, my first piece of advice will be to hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Stay up to date with the channel. There's a lot of good content coming from now until the end of the year. With that being said, I just want to say a quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely magazine. Thank you for all your hard work and support. Again, check out my article, it's on page 95. With that being said, let's get straight into the charts this week, and of course we'll check out them fundamentals.
Okay, so straight into the fundamentals, and next week it's going to be very action packed. It's going to be a lot better than last week, of course, with the NFP kind of holding up the week, creating a slow week until Friday. So this week, Monday, quiet, not really much, but this is where the action starts. So Tuesday, there's going to be a switch of focus around the Australian dollar. Of course, they've got their interest rate decision at 5:30 a.m. So that's going to cause an explosive start to the week for Tuesday morning. There's an unemployment rate there as well for the Swiss franc. That may have some impact. I'm not expecting too much. As we move through to Wednesday, again, another interest rate decision. The focus will then be switched over to the Canadian dollar. That's, of course, at 3 o'clock, an hour before the London close. So just going to be watching that, especially on the pound CAD, which has been one of my main focuses recently. So be sure to check that out when I'm analyzing the pound CAD. We then move to Thursday. We've got the Euro's interest rate decision. So again, the focus will be switched over to the Euro, and hopefully we can see a move with that as well. And then, of course, Friday, the piece of news that I'm going to be looking out for again involves the Canadian dollar, the unemployment rate. I just want to see if that's going to have the impact in the Canadian dollar. So again, lots of different currencies to look at, lots of things to be aware of. And of course, we're going to be looking to use the fundamentals to impact some of them pushes. So keep an eye on the pairs that I've mentioned here now, and then let's see what we can get with the charts. As usual, I'm going to start on the gold. Now, I mentioned last week how this area would scare me, how there's money above it. But I did also mention there would be sells from this possible area here. So what's happened is price has come to the 1820 mark, hit it, and as people that know gold, who trade gold, it's had a nice move to the downside. Okay, it's only around 1820 to 1800. It's not a massive drop, but for those of you who trade gold, you know it can be a very profitable situation. I did say there'd be sell pushes from here. It held all week, and then what we've had is price start to rise up right on the Friday, right towards the end of the week, and just start to push above this area. Now, what I believe that is the market makers are coming to eat all the liquidity that is above this area. So what I would suggest looking out for this week is a possible retest back towards this area for the higher buy push, as I believe now we're going to rip through this area. This is where I believe it's going to come to around the 1854 mark, when we can start to focus on them little miniature sells again throughout the week. So keep an eye on that one. I'm expecting a buy push from here. And then if it does reach this area, I'm looking to see price struggling. And then that may be just the small sell pushes. So be aware of that one. That's going to be gold. Next up is going to be the US 30. We've got kind of a similar story to what happened on gold. I mentioned this sell area last week. So the daily time frame was with us. I liked how it was just continuously sticking and having drops from this area. It looks a lot cleaner on the 4 hour. So as you can see, many taps off the area, many taps. And then we've had the drops to the downside. And of course, again, on Friday, it started to show that push. So what I would say is this area is becoming obvious now. It's becoming a bit bait. I haven't used that word for ages. And I'm just expecting maybe a push to the upside, but keep playing the sells. If it comes again and looks like it's struggling, you can get a small move out of it, depending on what day you're trading it. But eventually, I do, again, for the liquidity reason, believe that this area will be ripped through. So it's about just keeping an open mind, seeing which is going to look most likely. So possible sells from around here, the 35,519 mark, and the buyers would be around the 35,200. So it's just kind of watching this range, which way it's going to rip out of. So that's the US 30. Keep an eye on that one. Next up, the UK 100. Now, this is a trade that I'm in. I'm still holding these positions over the weekend. So I've actually got 2 sell positions from this area. Now, all week, I've just noticed the interactions. It's really building my confidence that, yes, this area has been manipulated by the market makers. So it first comes to it, hits the level, has a drop down. That shows me that my area that I'm looking to play off, it's holding weight. It comes again and has another drop to the downside. And then on Friday, comes again, bubbles there, and then all of a sudden, shoots down, it lets me know that, yep, the market makers are on this side of the market. They're pushing it down. So again, I'm just going to be looking at another entry on a retest back towards the area. Don't know what part of the week it's going to be there, and just looking to see if we're going to get another sell from that area. So just keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the UK 100. Next one I want to talk about is oil. I haven't spoken about this for a little while, but what I've seen on the weekly time frame is just, first of all, in the last 10 weeks, there's been some bearish action. It has been dominating the market. And I just like how this candle's got back to this area, and it's kind of just sitting there, tapping off the bottom of this one. So it lets me know that there could be transactions in here at some point in this range of this candle. I'm expecting to see a sell. If I come down to the daily, I just want to see up here around the 73 mark, if we're going to get a sell to the downside. It would be a trade that I'm looking to ride to the 64 mark. So keep an eye on that one. It's just from the 73 to the 64. I want to see oil struggle there, and then we're going to have a push to the downside. Just a quick update on Bitcoin. I know it's been going well for those who have been holding on to it. It's been going progressively to the upside. I just want to keep an eye on this 55,000 mark. I just want to say that if it is going to start to show some signs of struggling and pushing to the downside, then that's the area I believe it's going to come from. However, there's been a lot of positive news around the crypto space lately. So this is kind of going to be a make or break area. It's going to really show its hand as it tries to travel through this area. Is it going to struggle? Is it going to have them pushes back to the downside like we had recently? Or is it going to just rip through the area? And I believe if it does and makes a new high, then we're going to see the crypto space take on a whole new level. So just keep an eye on that one. Be aware of this area around the 55,000 mark. There's a few minefields that price has got to go through yet. If it does, for those who are holding on to these crypto currencies that they've got, just be aware that if this area does get ripped through, then I can only see positive news for the crypto space from then on. So keep an eye on that. That's going to be Bitcoin. Just a quick interruption. A reminder to check out my website. That's www.capitalatrading.co.uk. There's some really cool features that I'm looking to add from now until the end of the year. So do be sure to check that out. You can read about my journey here. You can read about the mentorship program that's available. You can check out some services, and there's some good tools to use. Of course, the economic calendar that you see me using at the start of the video. And there's going to be some good educational videos posted into there. So again, just be sure to check that out. Lots of cool things being added from now until the end of the year. That's www.capitalatrading.co.uk. Let's get into the currencies. First up in the currencies. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. It's the Euro CAD. Now, of course, remember, we've got fundamental news for both currencies. So what I'm expecting, first of all, I'm just looking at this daily time frame. And above here, there's going to be lots of liquidity. So on a long-term scale, there is a target that I do believe I'm going to see price rising above, back up to this area around the 151 mark. So if I just come down to a 4 hour, there's actually an area I mentioned recently around this 148, let's say 148,200 mark. And I believe we're going to get another push from there this week. So just keep an eye on this area. At some point, of course, with the fundamental news, if we can get it with the Euro interest rate decision, I'm looking to see that power the euro and then push it to the upside, at least towards the 150 this week. So hopefully, if the CAD news isn't too strong, doesn't push this out of the range, then yet we can look to take a trade for the euro, see it gain strength, and catch it that afternoon when it goes off. So again, just be aware, I'm looking to trade this for a buy around the 148, 200. I want to see things. I want to see price struggling there. I want to see a few wicks just hit the area, and then that will build my confidence to take the trade. So again, just be aware of that. Be aware of the fundamental news. That's the 148 mark. That's the Euro CAD. Okay, next up is going to be the AUD USD. This is going to be geared around the fundamentals. So what I want to see is the dollar start the week strong. It's obviously hit an area on Friday, and I want to see this start to push down a little bit. Now, of course, we've got the Australian dollars interest rate decision on Tuesday morning. So of course, Monday, I'm going to analyze this, just see how it's getting on. If I can see this progressively heading to the downside that day, then I'll be looking to take a buy position from the 74 mark, as long as it correlates in time with the Australian dollars interest rate decision. Now, this is going to be for the UK people, a 5 a.m. job. This is going to be an early morning. So I'm just going to be monitoring that. If it's there, I'll take my trade. If it's not, that will be invalidated very quickly. And I can then expect to see the US dollar take control as if the Australian dollar doesn't provide that strength. And then this will just progressively push to the downside, at least maybe back down towards the 73, 72, 500 mark. So keep an eye on that one. This is literally just being focused on because of the fundamentals this week. I want to see if there's going to be any pushes with that news. That's the AUD USD. Okay, next up I want to talk about is the USD JPY. Again, I just want to mention that 110 500, 110 400 mark. It's definitely holding weight. It's, as you can see, been played off many times. And I'm kind of just saying, let's keep an eye on it and play on it until it blows up in our face. So basically, I'm just looking to see price rise back up towards, okay, the 110 200, 110 400 mark. Is it going to continue playing for these drops to the downside? So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the USD JPY. I'm just looking to back the yen, see it beat up the dollar a bit this week again. Okay, next up is the USD CAD. I've had a few of my students talking to me about this one. So here I am analyzing it for you. The first thing I want to talk about is the daily picture. What I can see, we have been bullish for a little while. It has been eventually making moves to the upside, making new highs. And we're now back at a point where we could be starting a new race. So what I'm looking at now is the 124 500 mark. It could be, let's say, 124 800. If I just come down to a 4 hour, it'll look a bit clearer about this area here. You can see many plays, many pushes to the upside. We're just hoping for another one. So again, just around that 124 500, let's say 124 800, somewhere in there. I just want to see price struggle throughout the week, and then hopefully maybe towards the later part of the week. This will depend on how well the CAD news gets received. But I'm looking to back the dollar on this one for the big push to the upside, and hopefully hold for maybe a week or two. It could be a longer term trade than usual. So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the USD CAD. Next up is going to be the pound yen. Now, again, the first thing I want to talk about is this daily picture. I like how it's progressively moving to the downside and it's playing off of key areas. What it looks like it's been doing this week is pushing back towards where there's going to be another key selling area. It does look like around the 153 mark. Let's say 152 750 mark, somewhere around there. If I just come down to a 4 hour, this is the area where it's been stuck. This is where it came to on Friday and then started to stall, I think, a bit through Thursday as well, and then started to push on the last part of Friday. So again, this area will have to be watched around the 152, let's say 152 300 mark. If it doesn't hold up here and continues pushing, then of course that's where I'll be looking to see if it's going to play from the 153 mark. So again, I'm just looking to back the yen on this one. I'm looking to see if there's going to be a sign of struggle in one of them areas, and hopefully we can get a push to the downside this week. Keep an eye on that one. And one of them areas, it's going to be the pound yen. Okay, next up's the euro NZD. I think this one's worth a shout this week because of the fundamental news that we've got around the euro. I've been having a lot of fun with this recently. There was some nice trades from the 170 mark, from some sells. There's been some good buy pushes from around the 167, 166 mark. So now, what I believe is the market's now pushing out of that range, pushing out of where that's kind of been stuck for a little while. And it's pushing down to where I believe, funny enough, the euro interest rate decision, of course, this week, where we now might start seeing the push to the upside properly. So again, there's just a piece of imbalance down here on the 4 hour time frame. I'll just come down, you can see it a little bit clearer over here. I just want to see how it's going to interact with this area around the 165 600, let's say 165 900. Give it a little bit of space. I do want to see it struggling in there, and then hopefully again on time with the interest rate decision, we get the push to the upside. It can come a bit lower. There is something down around the 164 mark that is kind of scaring me. So I'm just going to keep an open mind, be aware of that, but I will be looking to take a buy push from here regarding the interest rate decisions in time with the area. That's the euro NZD. Going to have a more open mind on the euro AUD because we've got fundamentals on both sides. So again, there might be a push for the Australian dollar, and hopefully with what I've just been mentioning, I hope to see the euro push up. So what I'm looking at, again, I just want to mention that again, there was a good sell area recently that we had that's pushed down very nicely, hoping to see that sort of stop now because we've reached this point here. Again, funny enough, on Friday just pushes down to there, of course, with the interest rate decision coming up. I'll just come down to a 4 hour. What I'm looking to see is price just kind of hold up at this area around the 159 300 mark. Hold up, euro interest rate decision powers it to the upside. Now, of course, we've got the Australian dollar as well. So it's kind of just keeping an open mind. Is it going to push up towards here, where then I might be thinking about a sell around the 160 mark? It all depends on the fundamentals and which is lining up at the time for the best trading opportunity. So just keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the euro AUD. Be aware of this one more than the euro NZD. So this is where one of the main stories on the euro USD is going to be told for the euro, of course, this week. if it is going to be strong and the euro is going to gain that strength, then the first sign will be shown in here. So what I'm looking to see at the start of the week is just see the US dollar sort of gain some strength, push down towards this 18500, 18400 mark. And then that's when, again, of course, if it's on time, I want to see that euro then start to hold up here and then push to the upside. I have a target. I believe it's coming towards this 121 mark. So again, a nice range of pips there. Let's see if we can catch that euro, the interest rate. Again, I just need it to line up with the fundamentals. That's the euro USD, looking to buy around that area. Okay, just a quick update on the pound Aussie. We've had that amazing sell entry recently around that 192 mark, 191 mark, and it's been having a very strong push to the downside. So again, I just want to mention I was looking at a buy around this area last week. It teased me and then pushed to the downside. So it's not all glory. That was a trade that lost. Okay, I'm just keeping it honest with you. So now I just believe that this is going to keep powering to the downside. I'm not looking to buy anything here. I'm not looking to back the pound anytime soon. So what I am looking to see is the pound start the week strong and push back towards this 187 level, just back towards this scenario here, where we might continue getting that push to the downside, where I believe it's aiming to come towards this 183 mark. So just keep an eye on that. Be aware of that. Again, we've got some Australian dollar news. Let's see if that can correlate. If price is coming towards the 187 level, struggling, take your position, hold. And the key thing you can do is be patient. Okay, we're on the baby. It's the euro pound. For those of you who follow me, you'll know that I've annihilated the life out of this pretty much all year, if I'm honest with you. Again, last week had a position here talking about the sell around this area, around the 86 level. It flirted with it many times. And then again on Friday, started to have the push to the downside. Nothing special, just a little 40 pip move, 50 pip move. So what I'm looking at now is, of course, I believe this has been holding up for this euro interest rate decision. So I am still confident in this area pushing to the downside. You can expect to see it pull back up towards the 85, 900, of course, 8600 mark. And then I'm expecting to see a push to the downside again. Now, of course, we've got the euro interest rate decision. So I will be monitoring this level right here, just around the 85 mark, to see if it does push to the downside in time. And then, of course, like I've been mentioning throughout the whole video, I'm expecting to see some euro strength this week with that interest rate decision. If there isn't, then this will just continuously push to the downside. So then it would be about just focusing on the bearish action and the bearish structure points, seeing where price would come back to, seeing if we can hop on that bus to the downside. So again, just keep an open mind, let the market show you what it's going to do, and then try to trade that. Okay, so that's the euro pound. Be aware of the open mind, be aware of the sell from this area, be aware of the timing of the interest rate decision, be aware of the possible buy push that may cause. That's the euro pound. Last but not least is the pound CAD. Now, last week, I mentioned this area around the 174 mark and how I could see it had been manipulated. So I told my students to watch out for it. I told you, the viewers, to watch out for it. It came back, nearly came back, pretended to hit the area, almost hit the area, dropped down. Patience. You've got to be patient. Price then comes to the area. The perfect entry is there, and we get the nice move to the downside, the most progressive one. It then comes again, struggles in the area, and continues to have more pushes to the downside. So yes, the 174 level has been manipulated by the market makers. They are pushing from that area back in the CAD. So all I'm looking to do this week is see the same thing happen. I want to see price pull back up towards the area, maybe 173,900, maybe 173,800. It will get a bit lower. I am looking at this candle as where the new manipulation may be in. So just be aware that it might stick underneath this area now and drop. So it may not get back up to there. Again, it's just about seeing what's happening. So I'm going to keep an eye on the 173,800 to the 174 mark. If it comes there, I'll be happy to take a position. If it doesn't, I'll leave it. I'll let it go. And I believe this is going to be just pushing to the downside and maybe making a new low. So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be one of my main focuses for the week. It's the pound CAD.
Okay guys, that's all from me this week. Again, thank you for watching. If you like that, hit the like button, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, stay up to date with the content like I mentioned at the start. There is a lot of good stuff coming from now until the end of the year. I just want to say a quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely magazine. You can check out my article, it's on page 95. Before I go, check out my website, that's www.capitalatrade.com. capitalatrading.co.uk. Again, there's going to be lots of content loaded onto there from now until the end of the year. Thanks for watching and have a great trading week.
Bye, have a great time.